Hello and welcome to another episode of the TNT Presents Press Circle to Pin podcast. My name is Thunder and I'm already screwing it up. How about that? And there's also Turbo with me. He wanted me to do
Hey!
the intro this time.
I thought I'd give him a go. He'll never get to do it again.
Wow, I see how it is. But anyways,
Yep, episode 2, we're reviewing Fastlane today.
yeah, both of us sat through Fastlane, and unlike just him this time, I also took notes for it because, well, why not? If there's anything that he misses, I can bring it up and we'll talk about that. He's still the main guy because Turbo was the one who wanted to make this podcast become a thing, so.
Well, we both talked about it well over a year ago.
Yes, that you mentioned that last time.
But we'll get to the review part later. First, we're going to talk about, well, just recent goings-on in WWE and wrestling in general, so...
Okay, well, I do have one of the biggest news that was actually announced last night was that Shinsuke Nakamura has now officially signed with WWE NXT.
I didn't hear about that. I don't know who this guy is, though, sadly.
Nakamura is probably largely considered one of the greatest wrestling talents from Japan. He did a lot of work with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he's just a hell of a wrestler. He's an incredibly talented guy. He's got a lot of energy too. He's basically kind of like some people I've heard him say. I'm not saying this is true or not because I haven't watched enough of his stuff. But what I've watched, it's easy to argue that he could be the Japanese Shawn Michaels in a way.
Ooh, now that's interesting.
Yeah, he's a very, very talented wrestler.
So you say he's going to NXT first?
Yep, he signed with NXT, which is a good thing because we might as well start with a better promotion.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds like Japanese Shawn Michaels. My favorite wrestler of all time. I may as well at least give him a try.
There's another thing was actually speaking about Fastlane. If you want to save this for the actual match of when it happens,
if it's a review of the match, then maybe we talk about it later.
Because I'm just talking about there was a potential injury during a match.
I will talk about it later then.
Okay, I'll save that for later then. It's been decided that there's rumors, according to Dean Meltzer of Wrestling Observer Live, that Brock Lesnar may face Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania.
I was going to bring that up later, actually. Yeah, I saw it on not actually the thing, but I part of a wrestling forum, and it looks like the Wyatt Lesnar feud is dead, and they're talking about doing Ambrose Lesnar for WrestleMania now.
And that's what I'm wondering, is like, how are they going to pull that off?
We'll probably talk about that more once we finish the review. But yeah, I saw that news as well. Not sure how to feel about that yet.
Yeah, and there's, of course, I personally thought there was not much going on, but they're hopefully, at least to move on, hopefully, there is one, there's unfortunately two things, one unfortunately which could be very bad news, but the other being very great news. So I might as well start with the bad news since I want to end on a more positive note. It's being reported that due to the neck injury he suffered, that Tyson Kidd may have to retire from wrestling.
Oh, I didn't hear about this.
Yeah.
Oh, that pretty much sucks big fucking time. But then again, the guy's been having a lot of injuries in the last couple of years. He's probably spent more time away than he has in the ring.
He hasn't been wrestling since last June when he suffered the neck injury in the match with Samoa Joe. It screwed him up pretty bad.
Hadn't he only been back for like a couple months at that point as well from a previous injury?
I'm not sure. I can't quite remember at this point.
I think in, say, like the last 2 to 3 years. I think ever since the breakup with I can't remember the guy's name. The British Bulldog's son.
British Bulldog's son. I'm trying to remember who that is.
Something Smith. I can't remember. But ever since the breakup,
David Hart Smith.
Yeah, David Hart Smith. Ever since the breakup with him from the Hart Dynasty, he's had quite a few injuries.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Yeah, so while that is shitty news, I can't say it really surprises me that he might have to take early retirement.
Yeah, it sucks.
It looks like Natalia's going to be the breadwinner in that house.
But on a light of more positive news, Bret Hart recently took to, I believe it was his Instagram, mentioning that he had successfully recovered from prostate cancer, and that the surgery went very successful, and they were able to rid of his prostate cancer.
Which is a good thing. The very good thing to
It's a
hear.
very good thing.
Obviously, say what you want about the guy in terms of being a bit of a whiner at times. No, you'd never wish something like that on anybody. So
No, not at all. I mean, he's a little bit of a whiner, but it's also more the fact that he's just very. He believes very much in what he grew up with and stuff, and
yeah,
there's
fine.
no denying when he was in the ring, he was one of the best technical wrestlers.
Then
Without
again,
question.
at the same time, you've got to move on with the times as well.
Yes, as well.
But yeah, I'm very glad to hear that Brett's now not exactly on death row, so to speak.
Yeah, and that's all I can really think of right now at the moment. But we'll see what.
It's been a fairly. Then again, we've literally had like a week or two between, not even 2 weeks between the first episode and this one, so not a lot's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
and especially because this time around, like unlike the Rumble, we're actually pretty much doing Fastlane the night after Fastlane, unlike the Royal Rumble,
Yeah,
which we did a few weeks after.
the show actually would have been what 11 hours ago, something like that.
Close enough too.
Something like that. Yeah, I'm guessing you watched it live.
I watched it. Yeah, I watched it live.
I didn't watch it live. I watched it from like I watched it while I was on the exercise bike actually. So trying to do that and take notes was a challenge.
Oh my god! But yeah, I watched it live, and whilst with a group of friends, we're all just kind of commentating with it. Makes it a lot easier to sit through, to be honest.
But we'll get to that in a few minutes because we're introducing a little new segment here.
Well, a segment that we may continue doing if we so want to, I guess.
Yeah.
This is like, consider this our testing of it.
Yeah, a little bit of fun. Basically, a bit of a trivia challenge. We've each got. I think you said you had 4, but you've dropped 1 question, right?
Yeah, I had
Alright,
4, but I dropped them down to 3.
All right. We've both got 3 questions for each other, wrestling related and hopefully WWE related as well.
Yep, they're
Oh,
all of mine are all WWE related.
So am I, because obviously we're WWE guys. Just to see, basically, out of the two of us, who knows the most about WWE and its history, I guess. So do you want to go first, or shall I?
You're the one who introduced the concept. Why don't you go first?
This one is what I consider to be the easy question. Alright, oh, and by the way, we're kind of working on the honor system here. Hopefully neither one of us will go onto Google and look up answers and stuff. Basically, I'm putting my microphone right next to my keyboard here, so he'll be able to hear if I'm cheating by typing.
Yeah.
Alright, so my first question. What was the last pay-per-view match of 1999?
The very last pay-per-view match of 1999, like actual pay-per-view or pay-per-view match?
No, just the last match, like the last match on the last match on the last card of 1999. Pay-per-view.
Okay, well, I know for a fact since and just
right
to clarify,
away
recognize this.
I don't need the match type. I just want the 2 participants.
Okay. The final match was on the 1999 Armageddon pay-per-view. It was Triple H versus Vince McMahon.
Fuck. Then again, that was the easy question. Don't forget that. That was the easy question. Well done. 1 to you.
Yes.
All right. Question 1 for me, please.
All right. The first question was, it's a little bit studded. If you only manage to get like one of them, that's okay because I'll still accept it in a way. But what was this? In what city did Randy Orton had won his first World Heavyweight Championship? What pay-per-view was it on, and what was the year he won it?
I don't know the city. It was 2004 SummerSlam.
Correct. It was SummerSlam 2004. He won it in Toronto, Ontario, defeating some vacant wrestler.
Yeah, let's not hash anything. It was Chris Benoit. It was actually a pretty good match.
Yes, it was.
All things considered. That wasn't all 3 questions for you, was it?
Nope.
Oh, good. I was going to say. All right, 1 apiece so far. All right, second question. A bit of an intermediate question here. The Intercontinental Championship was taken away back in 2002, but was reinstated in 2003 in a Battle Royal. Who became the first champion when it was reinstated in that Battle Royal?
Oh, fuck.
I can even give you the pay-per-view it was at, if that helps. Judgment Day 2003.
Okay, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to get this back in my head because, a lot of me, I remember they had vacated it for a while, then brought it back.
Yeah, Eric Bischoff for
Vacated, they
some
unified it and then made it a thing again.
Eric Bischoff for some stupid reason got rid of it, and then they brought it back about, I want to say about 9-10 months later.
No, I don't even think it was 9-10 months later.
No, because they got rid of it, I think before No Mercy 2002. Judgment Day is usually around May, so it might be
No, it was a
8 months.
unification match at No Mercy between Triple H and Kane. Triple H had the World Heavyweight Championship, and Kane had the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, but No Mercy
That was in October,
yeah.
and Judgment Day was in May.
So yeah, about 8-9 months.
I know it's a battle royal.
Yeah.
I want to say it was Christian.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I would say it was Christian.
Fucking damn it, to the Thunder. I was catching out there because at first when I was thinking that question, I actually thought it was Booker T, but he was the last one eliminated, I think.
Yeah, I thought I was almost gonna say Booker T, but I thought it was Christian. So
I still got one more for you in a bit, but I need my second question now.
all right. The second question is that the Big Show had the shortest reign as the World Heavyweight Championship before they retired in 2013 because he only held it for 45 seconds.
Wait, say that again. The World Heavyweight Championship.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry,
But after Big Show, who was the next shortest reign holder?
Right. So WWE World Heavyweight Championship is in the one introduced in 2002, correct?
Yes, 2002 to 2013.
Give me a minute to think.
If you need me to give the pay-per-view it was on when this said person won it, I can do that. Because it was, it was this when this person won his reign for a very short time. It was at the Extreme Rules 2009 pay-per-view.
That would have been Extreme Rules. Give me I want to say Jeff Hardy.
Yes, you're right. It was Jeff Hardy.
Yeah,
he only held...
CM Punk cashed in Money in the Bank at the end of the pay-per-view, I remember.
Yeah, Hardy only held the title for just a little over 3 minutes. Yeah. He had the next shortest reign. But he was not the only one. I don't believe him and Big Show were the only ones to have the title for as short of a time, because I'm pretty sure there was one other person, but I'm trying to remember who that was.
If it was a title change, there's a good chance it was a Money in the Bank cash-in.
Yeah, but in Big Show's case was also a Money in the Bank cash-in.
Yeah.
When Daniel Bryan cashed in.
I remember, yeah. Because Big Show won the title off Mark Henry, if I remember
okay,
correctly.
yeah, there was one more person who didn't have it for more than a day. It was Dolph Ziggler in 2011.
How long did he hold it?
He was awarded the title at the beginning of the 600th episode of SmackDown, but then lost it later in the night to Edge.
Oh, right, I see. Oh, that sucks. So it's 2 apiece. We've both gotten our questions right so far.
Yeah.
This one's going to be what I consider the hard one, because I would not have gotten this one myself.
Okay.
What was the first match on the first WrestleMania?
The first match on the first WrestleMania? That's actually a pretty good question. I can't even remember, to be honest.
If you don't get this one, don't worry about it. I would not have gotten this one myself.
Yeah,
my
God.
I'll give you something of a clue. One of them is a legend. The other one, though, I've never heard of until I have actually seen WrestleMania, but outside of that one WrestleMania pay-per-view, WrestleMania 1, I don't think his opponent appeared again for a pay-per-view. So I will be surprised if you get.
You're saying a legend. I think I remember there was. Tito Santana was in the first WrestleMania, but I don't remember the other guy.
You giving this one up?
Yeah, I don't know who the other person was. I can't remember.
Alright. The first match of the first WrestleMania was Tito Santana versus the Executioner.
Jeez, no wonder why I didn't remember. Yeah. I have no idea who the Executioner was.
He was a mask, and he did appear on, I think, some of her pay-per-views later on down the line, but he wasn't the Executioner anymore. But that's what he was billed as for that pay-per-view, so fuck it. Alright, my third question, please.
I have a feeling you might actually get this one, but we will see. What was the date? Not the rating it got, but the date. when the This Is Your Life segment aired with The Rock and Mankind, when it drew the highest ever rating that Raw ever got in its history. What was what day did it? What was the date that it aired on?
Well, obviously 1999.
It was 1999. But what's the month and day?
I can maybe narrow it down to a month. I don't think I can do a day, but I'll have a go. It was during the Rock and Sock, so it was late-ish 99 as well.
Yes.
Oh, fuck. Let me think about this for a moment. We're both going to catch each other out here on the hard answers, I can just see it. Fuck me.
I didn't mean to throw you that off. If you can't think, I'll tell you.
I'm going to take a guess at the month. October?
Nope.
Oh, fuck.
But you were very close.
It was either September or November then.
It was September 27th, 1999.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that. The day was... Asking for the actual date was just something I wasn't going to be able to...
I should have just said the month, but oh well.
Oh well, it doesn't matter.
So we both got 2 and 1.
2 out of 3, and we both only failed on what we consider the hard questions.
Yeah. So, actually, because we both did so well, we should probably do this again next time.
Maybe.
Maybe.
It was good. That passed on a good 5 minutes anyway.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, by the way, guys, it's probably going to be shorter than our previous episode, just purely on the fact that it's not the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, we're probably going to also try to, keep it more focused to the matches if we can. If we go off, it's because we're dumb.
So, once again, we go into our... Okay. We go into our Fastlane review. Once again, like last month, I did not watch the pre-show. They did show a segment which showed the highlights from it. So I do know what happened. I do have the falls, the 2 out of 3 falls thing written down.
Well, the
but
good
you
news,
did watch half of it, you said, didn't you?
I saw 45 minutes of it. I missed the first 15 minutes because I forgot to get to the pre-stream on the YouTube for it, but I did see a good portion of it, so I did manage to actually see the match itself.
So but I'm gonna fall to you for the notes here.
Yeah, so they had pretty much. I'll just I'll try to check where I got. They had a promo for the main event, of course, during the pre-show, and it was a pretty good promo, I'll admit. So try to generate a lot of hype. And the one thing I'm very glad they did was they did not put the whole focus of the promo on Reigns. I was worried that they were going to do that because of how they treat him, but they didn't do that, and I'm very glad they didn't.
Can I ask, was this the exact same promo they showed before the actual match took place later on?
I don't remember. There was multiple promos of the thing.
Fair enough, because I saw the second promo, which was actually very good, but we'll get off that and just talk about it later. Yeah.
There was... So then it went to the kickoff, and they actually had Paul Heyman on the kickoff, and he was just going on endlessly praising just every chance he can to put over Brock Lesnar and how he's going to go to WrestleMania. And interestingly, as he's talking, there's a New Day chant that breaks out.
Okay. Weird way to take over the show.
Yeah, and he's mentioning how Heyman will be looking past the match and looking forward to Lesnar conquering Triple H at WrestleMania. I had to specifically mention conquering.
Yeah, obviously.
So that pretty much was the point of that, basically, as well as I kind of got the other opinions of the others on the table, which included Booker T, Jerry Lawler, and I think the other one's Corey Graves. I can't remember his name, but.
I actually don't know who that guy is, but they did go to the panel later, so yeah, I did see him once.
Yeah, they had... Then, after that, I'm just going to say it, they had another Edge and Christian show plug-in. At least it was different from the last time.
They had a good 2 or 3 throughout the entire fucking night again.
Oh my god, it was ridiculous. I mean, I understand, and then of course it led to them advertising about the Cutting Edge later on the night with the New Day as the guest.
The Cutting Peep show, you mean?
Yes, the Cutting Peep show. You're correct.
Yes.
but we will get to that later.
Yep.
Of course, Lawler was still playing the heel role. Where during the little thing it's showing about the music, the two being largely comedy musical acts, he's just going about how music and wrestling doesn't go together, and tries to remind us about a little Guido or something trying to show up music, trying to play with music at the King's Court, and Lawler showing him what he thought about it. And I can't remember much of it. I apologize.
I said it before, I'll say it again. Lawler at this age does not need to be a heel.
No, he does. I mean, he works better as a heel in my opinion, but it is a little bit too late at this point in my opinion.
He's just getting on too much now. He's what, in his 60s, something like that.
Yeah, he's in his 60s.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit late for that now. And to be honest, meh. And also, don't worry about remembering stuff too much. My notes don't go into too much detail anyway about what people say and all that shit.
Yeah, mine don't either. It only lists a few things if it was very noticeable or interesting.
Yeah.
So,
I'm guessing from that was the 2 out of 3 falls for the US title.
not quite. They actually did have a preview of the Intercontinental Championship Final 5-Way from Raw. So, and then it cut to a backstage promo with Dolph Ziggler, and there was a bit of an audible botch because as he's talking, you loudly hear JBL's entrance theme, the bells or whatever it is starting, and you hear the crowd pop for it. Yeah, and the crowd just pops for it, and then they cut it out because
I'm guessing the show had just kicked off properly or something at that point, or he was just coming. Maybe he wasn't at the ring at that point, so he decided to play his music or something.
Yeah, then it had, of course, a promo for WrestleMania, and the one thing they did like about the pre-show, which I really wish they did for the whole main event, the pay-per-view, but of course, I guess you gotta start somewhere. Mauro Ranallo was the main commentator for the kickoff, which was nice to listen to.
Okay.
But there was that, and we basically get to the actual match, the 2 out of 3 falls match for the United States Championship between Alberto Del Rio and Kalisto. Del Rio comes out and doesn't get much of a reaction at all. It's just very bits of boos, kind of like, we'll boo, we suppose. That kind of heat. There was actually, notice that he actually did a spot where he grabbed a fan who had a U.S. title and held it up, I guess as a sign of things to come. Kalisto was then out next. He got a better reaction, but it wasn't very strong. This crowd for much of the night wasn't very large.
Oh, I know.
In terms of reaction.
I'm gonna disagree with you on that, but we'll get to that later.
I mean, for the most part, leading up to the later bits, they weren't very too excited. It seemed.
Yeah, well, like I said, I've got actually quite a few notes on how the crowd were. So again, we'll talk about that when we get to the actual matches. I can actually talk about.
Yeah, Kalisto's attire was pretty interesting. Kind of looked like a friend of mine thought he kind of looked a bit like the Green Lantern in a way. Just a little bit, though. But, basically, Lillian actually practiced her Spanish language for the two, which was interesting. And then, basically, the match started, and almost immediately, Del Rio went to trying targeting Kalisto's arm to try to weaken him.
I'll go for the arm bar, obviously.
Yeah, the cross arm breaker or whatever it's called. And there was a segment where there was a couple moments during the match, and this was the first time he was trying to rip off Kalisto's mask, but every time was unsuccessful. Kalisto rebounds and pulls a Spike Hurricanrana, but only gets the 1 count. He does a springboard jump, and then after landing it, he does the Lucha Chance, which the crowd follows with him. Mm-hmm. And it was supposed to lead to Del Rio kicking Kalisto in the back, but he so badly botched it. He didn't hit. It looks like he completely missed it, and it looked awful.
He usually doesn't do too badly with stuff like that.
But yeah, it was not pretty. But so the match at this point was kind of a bit sloppy. There wasn't really that exciting. There was an over the barricade spot, and interestingly enough, Del Rio decides to go over and gets the chair and smacks Kalisto with the chair, which means Kalisto wins the first fall as a result of disqualification.
I did hear about that. That's one of the few notes I do have. Del Rio loses first fall by DQ.
Yeah. He tries again with another kick, and he actually hits it this time. and then decides to take Kalisto and sends them running to each barricade on each corner, which was a bit of an interesting thing. The match then went to commercial, just showing another WWE Network promo, so nothing interesting. Then immediately cuts back, and you hear Del Rio shouting to ring the bell, ring the bell. And as far as I know, I don't think the bell actually rung. But they went anyways, and Del Rio hit some kind of finisher. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't very good, and he gets the second fall for the 3 count.
Mm.
And what I don't really mention much about the commentators, but there was something that really bugged me about this. Was JBL was ranting about who cares about that first fall, because noting that he lost it because of disqualification, and I'm just sitting there thinking, you don't realize the point of this match, do you?
Yeah. Doesn't surprise me. Like I said, I know I'm not talking much. I didn't see the match, so I have nothing really to say about this one so far.
Yeah, it was just... Yeah, so I'm just trying to do what I can. He tries to unmask him again, and even trying to bite it and getting up to the point where he's trying to bite and tear it off, which I thought was interesting. But it didn't actually come off, so that was mostly a wasted spot again.
Fair enough.
So, and basically, the match at this point I didn't think was very good so far. Kalisto hits the Frankensteiner on Del Rio, which I pretty much probably would have not been able to recognize had it not been for Ronaldo calling out the moves, which I gotta thank him for that, because I'm really glad we have a commentator now that's calling the moves. He's starting to gain momentum, and at this point, it was when he was starting to pull all his moves, is when I was like, oh yeah, Kalisto's really the only good thing about this match so far.
Unfortunately, that calling the moves did not transfer into the actual pay-per-view.
No, it did not.
No.
There was basically numerous move and pin attempts that Kalisto tried, but can only get 2 counts. Del Rio does another botch. I didn't mention how he botched, so I probably should have done that, but oh well. But yeah, he wasn't having a very good night. He hits a superplex on Kalisto, but Kalisto rolls out of the ring. He actually teases another chair shot, but throws it away as to not cost him the match. And when he does another kick with Kalisto, and nearly blows his knee out, because the way he landed looked very awkward. He was holding his knee. It looked like he nearly blew his knee. And Kalisto takes the chance to actually get a roll-up pin and gets the 3 count to win 2 falls to 1 and retains the U.S. title.
Probably the smart move in my opinion. Del Rio, there's no reason to keep the championship on him. You know, at least let Kalisto try and get some momentum with the title, I guess.
Yeah. So then there was basically a section with the social media lounge. That's something that they've been recently doing, where they get a wrestler and ask them questions that were meant for them on Twitter. And the questions were for AJ Styles, and he did a pretty good job with what he was given. He made this segment worth watching, in my opinion, because Styles can really speak from the heart and just is a good talker and knows what to say and what not. So it was a decent backstage segment. It cuts to the kickoff again with yet another New Day chant, which was silly. And then it cuts to, of course, a Fastlane promo for short thing about the main event. Wasn't the same as earlier. Shows even Marie on screen, and all I brought is nightmares. So, and then there's something that they showed on the pre-show and also showed during the pay-per-view, something about this Vincent J. McMahon Legacy of Excellence Award.
Yeah, they show that quite a lot during the pay-per-view as well. It's supposed to be some kind of new award that's going to be given out for the first time tonight on Raw.
I'm just sitting there in my head every time I saw it thinking, why do I have a feeling it's going to go to Vincent K. McMahon?
Yeah, I've got a feeling that's going to happen as well.
Yeah. That's basically the impression that I've gotten.
I suppose it'll give us something to talk about on the WrestleMania episode anyway.
Yeah, there was a very brief Charlotte promo, nothing really worth saying, so oops. And then, of course, more build-up for the main event with added scenes of Rhodes and Eva Marie trying to show off her sex appeal in her suit, which was the one thing she's only good at.
I don't even think she's all that attractive compared to a lot of the other divas.
Yeah. And then this is when we start getting to the actual pay-per-view.
So we drive onto the Fastlane now, do we?
They had an actual pyro for this, which for a not big for a pay-per-view, which really surprised me.
Oh,
I
is
guess
that something they don't do very often now?
they don't really do that a whole lot. Maybe maybe they've still been doing it with the whole pay-per-view stuff, and it's largely just because I haven't seen
Road to
them all.
WrestleMania, maybe? Because
Yeah,
that whole thing, maybe?
but yeah, they but you know, it's what can you do? I guess it was still nice to see. I kind of like the pyros, but
So I guess that
and then of
means the
course,
show kicks
sadly, at this
off.
point, Michael Cole was back, or
Oh, yeah.
Maggle as we call him,
Maggie!
Maggle.
So I guess I can actually jump in now because we're actually on
Go
the
ahead.
pay-per-view.
Yeah.
The pay-per-view kicks off, as Thunder already said. Amazingly enough, I can't remember the last time this happened. The show opens with a Divas match.
The Divas tag team match with Sasha. On one side, Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, and on the other side, Naomi and Tamina. Sasha Banks got a decent reaction to the
Yeah,
crowd,
decent.
as probably very obvious.
No idea the
Actually,
fucking eruption she got at the Rumble, though.
nowhere near as much because Cleveland crowd is not as energetic as Orlando crowd. Excuse me. So Becky Lynch was out next, and oh man, she looked great. She had that long hat and the long jacket, like the steampunk hat, and then the long jacket, which kind of reminded me of Edge in a way.
Yeah, I suppose. Here's the thing, I only watched the pay-per-view in fact, I only finished watching the pay-per-view a couple hours ago. I've already forgotten quite a lot of stuff.
Oh my
I've got a
god.
terrible fucking memory. That's why I have to take notes.
Yep. So they had Naomi and Tamina come out together with had literally had no heat.
Yeah, and
So
Tamina, pretty much the female version of Roman Reigns in both looks and appeal.
yep.
She even wears the
And
same fucking outfit.
there's one thing that really interested me was that they show the announce tables. You have, of course, the regular one, and then, of course, the Spanish announce table. But they now apparently have a German announce
Yeah,
table.
that's the first time I can remember that. They probably have had. I know they've had a French table occasionally in the past.
Yeah.
I do remember once or twice them doing that. I cannot for the life of me remember them ever doing a German announce table, though.
Yeah, that was very surprising. We teased about it to a friend of mine who was in the group when we were talking because he's actually from Germany. He's like, finally, he has a announce team he can understand, even though he can fully and fluently speak English.
Yeah.
So
Better than Weekend, apparently, anyway.
probably.
But yeah, some nice animosity between both Sasha and Becky, fighting over who's going to go into the ring first and stuff.
Yep.
you know,
Becky was the one who got the first proper tag, and so she's the one who starts the match. And much of the match is basically just she's getting beat down constantly. Well, and at one point it looked like Tamina was almost trying to choke Becky, which was very weird. I was like,
Uh,
why are you doing this?
yeah, probably. My first note for the actual match is there was a nice double baseball slide to Tamina and Naomi from the face girls, I guess I'll call them for this. That was
Yeah.
pretty nice.
Yeah.
I actually did not take a whole lot of notes for this one match. I have seen Naomi wrestle before. I am not particularly a fan of how she wrestles. I think she's kind of sucky, but she did perform a nice Hulk Hogan leg drop.
At her best, she's okay.
Yeah, she performs a nice Hulk Hogan leg drop. I'll give it
Yeah,
that.
but much of the match it really showed just how much better Becky and Sasha were in comparison. They're just far better
Yeah,
talents.
here's the thing, and we'll actually see this later on with the Divas Championship match. There's an obvious difference between the women that have been on the main roster for the last couple of years and the women that's come up from NXT.
Yeah, there's a huge
there is
difference.
a huge difference, and you can see
It's
it right out the bat.
it's just massive.
Yeah, and you can also see the girls are struggling to combine their what's the word I'm looking for? The way they wrestle, like I said, they've got two different. Forgive the pun here. There's a complete styles clash between the. I know, as I said, pardon the pun. There is a styles clash between the old divas and the NXT divas, and you can see it because not just this match, but later on as well. You know, they do well for what they're given, but you know, last month we got two NXT divas going up against each other and it had a fucking amazing match in my opinion, apart from that ending. And then you get
Yeah,
this, and there's an obvious struggle for the two styles to coincide properly.
pretty much. So yeah, most of it. There was a lot of. I will admit, there's a lot of good moments. Like Tamina and Naomi were playing it very smart, trying to take any chance they can to knock the other one out of the potential getting tagged in, and it was pretty interesting.
There was an interesting moment. Becky went for the tag, and at first I thought Sasha had pretty much just like abandoned her. It turned out Naomi had pulled Sasha out right at the correct moment.
Yeah,
To the
like that was the
outside.
thing. It looked like she just tried to to back out, but
Yeah, that's what I
it
thought she
cut to
did. I thought,
Naomi.
oh,
And I
here's
was
a
like,
heel
oh,
turn.
that's a very interesting thing. There was one interesting moment, but that's actually mentioned because she tries to go under Becky tries to go under Tamina's legs to make the tag, which I thought was very clever,
Oh, the botch thing, because it looks like she gets stuck or something.
possibly. But yeah, but of course,
Yeah.
like both of them eventually recover. Becky knocks out both Tamina and Naomi, and finally, as they're recovering, gets the tag on Sasha, and the
Fucking cleans
energy
house.
the energy she just put on that match blew everything away. Pretty much,
Yeah.
she just came in with all fire.
Yeah, I'll go for Sasha Banks. It's my first time seeing her in the ring. I probably would have liked to see her go up against one of the other NXT women, but
You still need to watch the
I
matches
know
she
I
had with
will
Bailey
watch
in
the
NXT.
Bailey
Please
Sasha.
do it.
I will do it. But I thought she did well for what she had to work with here. I've got a Naomi hit. I can't remember who it, but she hit a rear view for a 2 count.
And I was thinking at first, they can't be ending the match like that because it's like
It's one of the most stupid fucking finishers I've ever seen.
it is. It's like how is that really effective? But thankfully, Sasha kicked out at 2, and I was like, oh my god.
Then I think Tamina hit a super kick for a 2, but Becky broke the pin.
Yep.
Yeah, a double missile drop kick from the top rope by Becky Lynch onto the 2.
Yeah.
That was fucking impressive.
Yeah, and then it leads to
The closing moments of the match.
yep, Sasha gets Tamina and puts her into the bank statement, which then Naomi tries to run to break up, but before she can, is it then caught by Becky, which Becky puts her into a disarmor. Tamina can't take it anymore, taps, and Sasha and Becky win the match via submission.
Now, I will point out, because we talked about this earlier about crowd reactions, right towards that closing segment we just talked about, pretty much from the double missile drop kick, the crowd started doing a "This is awesome" chant.
Yeah,
They did get into this match towards the end really big.
They
time.
did. I will.
As soon as Sasha got tagged in, they got into the match.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's because they all know she's just the how much potential she has to really be one of the the top women
Yeah,
there, and it's just such a good wrestler. So
overall,
I could go for days saying how much I like Sasha Banks as a wrestler, but of course I don't want to bore you all.
like I said, my first time seeing her wrestle was very impressed, especially considering who she was up against in this match. Would love to see her against an NXT woman. Again, I will
Definitely.
watch the Bailey Sasha matches. I know I will watch them. But overall, this tag team Divas match, once again, a good Divas match on WWE pay-per-view. You know, times have changed over the past year.
It's a good match. I can't really complain too much
Divas
about it.
division is actually.
I would
really
say that
improved.
was probably a 7.5. Out of 10 for me. I'd
I
rate it.
haven't got ratings for each match, but obviously I've got a rating for the overall pay-per-view. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just got a really good match.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
I gave it a 7.5. So,
I don't have a rating, I'm afraid.
do you want to give one right now or no?
But there was not really. There was just some advertisements and stuff. I didn't make any notes, but I do remember there being some advertisements between this and the second match, which do you want to jump straight into? Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler for the IC title.
Okay, well, this is one I'm very interested in doing. There's of course all this other stuff that I mentioned about WrestleMania promo, Machine Gun Kelly shown on screen, yada yada yada. But we'll try to keep on a little more focus since that's not really too important. The matches are what's important. Kevin Owens comes out and actually got a pretty good reaction in terms of how the crowd reacted to him.
Especially
You can
since
hear-
we're in Ziggler's home state as well.
Yeah, he got quite a few cheers, although you of course could hear the boos, which was good because that's how he should be as a heel. He should have those people hating him, which
Yeah.
is great. Ziggler came out to his hometown and
And
honestly got less of a reaction, which was very surprising.
he got a mild pop, but it wasn't anything that you would expect for the hometown guy to
Yeah,
get, especially when the guy is an internet darling as well. So
yeah. Uh, I
I
will say this: I'm very glad that Ziggler's going with the attire he is now. He looks much better
yeah,
having full-on
definitely.
pants, and then seems to just he's no longer blonding his hair. He's going for, I guess, a more natural brown, which is nice.
The hair color doesn't really bother me, but I am happy he's finally wearing long pants.
Yeah, it's about time.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
Almost immediately during the match, it started a chant, like
yeah,
a
I
mixed
couldn't tell
chant
what this is.
between.
I got Let's Go Ziggler, but I couldn't get what the second part was.
I think the other one was Fight Owens Fight.
Really, because it didn't seem to be long enough for it to be that.
I think it was, but I could be wrong. If it isn't, then
I don't
feel free
know.
to correct
But yeah,
us.
it was Let's Go
Uh,
Ziggler something else.
and I like the noticeable thing was that Owens was getting a lot of chance, and he just takes the time to scream at Ziggler that his hometown likes him more than the hometown kid.
Yeah, Owens is a good heel. He's really good at playing the bad guy in the match.
So the match started really slow. There was so much
Oh, tell me
cradling.
about it. There was a pretty long sleeper attempts by
A lot of
Ziggler.
sleepers and cradles, and I was like, what is going
This was a
on?
very technical, slow opening. This was like an old school match opening.
Yeah, so it's like, and then of course to break it up, gets the drop kick, but then Owens recovers by actually sending Ziggler to the top turnbuckle, and Jesus, the hit that he took from that top turnbuckle was
They showed it like two or
painful.
three times, didn't they? It looked like he got the turnbuckle pad into his neck or something.
It looked painful.
But to be honest, I didn't really take many notes here until till Owens does the second senton, and he does it to Dolph's spine while he's kneeled.
Yeah,
That
it
looked
was
pretty
just
fucking nasty.
easily. It just yeah.
Obviously, it was done. It was performed perfectly by the looks of it, but it still looked nasty. It's like, oh, I would not want to take that if I was a wrestler.
But I did point out one thing when no one was showing off, like of course when they spread out their heads and just be like, oh, who's the man now or whatever. For example, was it just me or were people actually wooing, going
Uh,
woo?
Maybe I didn't notice anything, but they might have done.
Yeah, I think they did. I'm either that or I'm just going insane.
Um, there was a botch, I think, when Ziggler tried to avoid Kevin Owens by sliding through his legs. It looked like he got stuck or something.
Yeah,
I'm
kind
not
of did to be
certain.
honest.
I couldn't tell if that was intentional or an actual botch, though.
Possibly.
Yeah. Oh, my next note
Yeah.
here is
Oh yeah, the
sorry.
scent and then the senton kick that Owens did on Ziggler's back. Oh man.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was the one I was talking about earlier. That was fucking nasty.
He just back slams his back, Ziggler's back, and I was like, Jesus.
Here's the thing: Dolph wasn't even laid flat on the canvas. He was on his knees and his hands and knees
Yeah.
as well. So fucking hell, that must. If he was only laid on his front, if I was a wrestler, if I was on my front, I'd take it. If I was not like that, no fucking way.
I'd
Especially not
probably
with
be
a
the
guy.
exact same way.
Especially not with a guy
I'm
with
too much of
Owens'
a,
size.
I'd be too much of a pussy to be honest.
Oh come on, you must have wrestled as a kid with other friends and stuff.
What, me?
Yeah,
No, I never did. I didn't
you're
have.
joking.
I'm not joking. I didn't have any friends who were into
Oh,
that stuff.
dude, I've broken
Hell,
fucking beds, cut myself and all that shit when I was younger.
you broke people's beds? What?
No, I broke my own bed twice.
Oh, I was about
I
to say
rock bottomed my
Jesus.
friend through my bed and it went straight through.
Oh boy.
And then there was a second time, I think I got X Factor or something, and again it happened, but it didn't go straight through that time.
Wow.
It was, I was young, what can I say? I was only about 10 at the time.
Yeah, of course.
The next note I've got here is, I have seen Owens wrestle before, obviously, but I think I have anyway, but the next thing I noticed was the big cannonball into the fucking corner.
Oh yeah,
That
he had
that
the
guy's
cannon.
fucking athletic for his size.
Yeah, but yeah, he's just for the guy, for the size of the guy. The guy is like, you swear he's almost like a machine. There's like no way someone this size should be pulling all this off. But he just, not only does he pull it off, he almost very rarely ever screws it up.
Yeah.
He's oh man, it's great to watch him.
To be
That's
honest,
why he's my favorite wrestler at the
to
moment.
be honest, the only guy I can think of who worked similar to Kevin Owens was Bam Bam Bigelow, and he wasn't anywhere nearly as polished as Kevin Owens was.
Nope.
He was
I mean,
athletic, don't get me wrong. He could do moonsaults and shit, but it wasn't nearly to the perfection that Kevin Owens does show.
no. But yeah, it was just great.
Yeah.
Just
Next we had Dolph doing his big DDT spot for a 2 count,
yep.
and then I've got
There's
super kicks galore.
yeah, they were going very back and forth with the super kicks.
Super kick on the outside from Ziggler, and then back in the ring a super kick from Owens.
And that's also gets the 2 count.
Yeah. Then another super kick from Dolph for a 2 count.
And Ziggler at this point was just going for as many of the big moves as he could, but
Yeah.
Owens just constantly doing the John Cena kick out and kicking out at 2.
Yeah. They went back to the outside, and there was a nice Hurricane Rana on with Kevin Owens' face going straight into the steps.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, there was, and then it was around this point they were getting the "This is awesome"
Yeah.
chants happening, and
That's my next
rightfully
note,
so.
actually. We
Yeah.
get This Is Awesome chant while Dolph's getting the Famouser for a 2 count.
Yep.
But then in the closing stages of the match, a pop-up powerbomb for the 3 count, but it looked like it was a little bit set up wrong.
I should mention. Here's how it worked. Like he was just saluting. He was trying to salute like Shawn Michaels.
Yeah,
Like he was actually
he's tuning
tuning
up the
up for
band.
Sweet Tune
Yeah.
music. Yeah, Sweet Tune music. But I think I can't tell. I think the referee got shoved in the way. Either that or the referee just got in the way.
Yeah,
So
that's what I've
Ziggler
got
lost
here.
his
It looked
momentum.
like it was set
Owen
up
took
wrong.
Yeah, Owen took the opportunity, hits the pop-up powerbomb, and gets the 3 count and retains the title. And this was so far the best match of the night.
I'm just going to go back to that thing for a second. I don't know what it was. Like you said, Ziggler was tuning up the band and all that, obviously paying HBK homage. He always moves out the way, but then they sort of, and obviously it looks like Ziggler's about to hit the ref, but manages to stop in time. But then there's this like awkward 2 or 3 seconds where Owens and Ziggler are still in eyesight of each other, and it's like something's supposed to happen and nothing happens, and then all of a sudden just pop up powerbomb for a 3 count. It was a weird ending, and it looked like something had gone wrong to me.
Yeah, it was. It was very weird. I can't really describe it much better, to be honest, and I apologize, but you know.
But much like Thunder said, it was a good match, but I'm going to be honest, I was expecting more.
I thought it was a really good match. I had nothing to say that I was expecting more. It was. I thought it was great. It was best match of the night so far up to this point.
I would say the best match of the night so far, but again, I did expect more from those two. I don't know, maybe I was just expecting too much.
And there was like some kind of promo that I admittedly wasn't paying much attention to, so I forget it.
They were talking about
sorry.
it was Show, Ryback, and Kane backstage, essentially trying to do a Wyatt style promo, I guess. It was okay, nothing special, I guess. It was like a typical Raw thing. It went on for about 40 seconds, if that, though, so
Yeah.
really nothing much to talk about.
I just can't. I just couldn't think of anything. Like I was completely lost.
Mm.
I was like, what are they saying?
To be honest, I wasn't paying much attention to them either.
Yeah,
but-
there wasn't that interesting, to be honest.
Which does bring us into our third match, Kane, Ryback, and Show versus the Wyatt family.
Oh boy.
I'm going to say it right now, I actually liked the promo they showed here.
The promo was actually surprising, and I had to say, like, I mean, it wasn't anything too exciting, but it wasn't that bad either, and the music that they used was a pretty decent choice.
Again, I've not been watching Rob. I like this whole thing where Bray Wyatt calling them the new gods as opposed to the old gods.
Bray Wyatt is by far one of the best on the mic. He does get repetitive sometimes but
again, it was in the promo
but
package, so maybe they just made it look better than it did, but it did look good.
No, that was pretty much a good census of it. So
All right, fair enough. This has nothing really to do with a match, but I just gotta say, I love every time Bray Wyatt's music comes on. The lights go off, and you just see everyone's phones as the fireflies. I think it's just an amazing view
Oh,
to see all that.
the entrance is just the best. I
Yeah.
just love seeing that.
Just seeing a fucking a full arena, a stadium, whatever, the lights go out, and you've just got this fairly creepy music going, that's surprisingly catchy, and you just got a ton of phones coming out, acting as this guy's fireflies. It's an amazing view to see. I
Hmm.
know it's been going on for a long time, but I didn't bring it up last month because obviously Bray Wyatt didn't have a singles match, but I did want to bring it up this time.
Hmm.
But yeah, next thing is Ryback's new look. I don't know how long he's had this. I didn't see it at the Rumble. If I did, I must have just missed it or something. Or I wasn't paying attention. But they're really going for a Goldberg 2.0 look here.
Pretty much. But the reaction the Big Show and Ryback got were not good at all. They just did not like the two.
Even Kane only gets like
Kane's reaction was very mild.
he gets a respective clap here and there, but he's not like getting the fans to stand on the feet or anything like that.
You know, it just wasn't. They just was like, oh hey, it's this guy, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And like so, you can't really. You talk about Big Show and Kane, two guys who have been around since one since '97, one since '99. So,
Yeah. Immediately as they started, I actually took the chance to get a piss break and a drink of water. So
I actually
and when I
didn't,
got back,
so
I was told I did not miss much.
I missed a few things. I don't know when you jump in with your notes. Fine enough. I will say this: my first note here was there was a really nice drop kick off the top rope from Ryback.
Yeah, Harper is another guy who's, for his size, is surprisingly good in the ring.
Harper, I didn't say Harper.
Oh, you did?
I said Ryback.
Oh, I thought said my thing said Harper with a drop kick on Ryback.
He might have that. I don't know if that was before or after this, but
Maybe maybe Ryback did a drop kick whilst I was gone, but I know Harper also
yeah.
did one on Ryback. Okay.
I think it was actually my note here was before you came back then because Ryback went to the top row and he performed a really solid drop kick. I can't remember where it was on, but it looked really nice. I just very surprised he was able to pull that off.
What, Ryback or
Yeah.
Harper? Wow, okay. I was told I didn't miss much except for slaps to chest.
I will say this was probably my big note here was this was the quiet period for the crowd. This was when they were the most quiet of the night so far since the pay-per-view started, I think.
Yeah.
They do towards the end start getting into the match, but for the most part they're kind of quiet throughout the entire match.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ryback's stuck in the ring for a while. The crowd are dead, so Big Show starts to get a Phoebe Moore chant going.
Yeah.
He's probably just hungry actually, but well.
Yeah, well, he's always hungry.
I did make a note here that because they panned away from the ring with their not sorry panned away. They had the widescreen camera going, so you saw all the men. It just made me realize, holy fuck, Ryback's actually the smallest guy in this match.
He is.
All these fucking men are massive. This must be like Vince's wet dream right now.
Probably.
When you consider Ryback's your smallest guy in the ring, that's saying something.
Yeah. Although I will say with Kane, he does look a little bigger than he used to. Like nothing's too serious, but
Yeah.
he looks like he's got a bit of chub.
He's getting on though. The guy's got to be in his late 40s at least.
I think he's near his 50s now, I think.
Yeah.
In fact, let me see. Actually, yeah, he turns 49 this April.
Yeah, I mean, you can forgive it at this point as well. The guy's been wrestling for a long time, so
Yeah, he's one of the last few guys from his time.
who's still a pretty much active on the roster throughout the entire year. So kudos to him. I mean, you can't do what he did back in like '97 and stuff to the same extent, but he's not terrible considering his age and his size.
He's really not that bad for who he is.
Yeah, pretty much. My next note: Strowman goes to the outside from a missed boot.
Yep.
He pretty much, I can't remember who it was, he threw someone into the corner, went for a running boot, They moved out the way, and Strowman went straight flying over the top rope.
Pretty much. I think that's about right.
Uh, Again, nothing much to say here. Ryback did have another moment here. He did the CM Punk running knee in the corner thing.
Yeah, he did. I did actually notice that. I didn't get the CM Punk bit, but I had a feeling you probably would have because it once you mentioned it, I was like, oh wait, that's right.
Obviously, there's been a lot of animosity between Ryback and Punk because of the whole injury shit and stuff like that. And I'm guessing this was mocking Punk.
I'm dumb as fuck. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he doesn't make
Sorry, I
himself
had to
look
mention
good.
that out. Well, I had to mention that as a joke.
Either way, it was an interesting moment.
Yeah, it was. It was. Like it's.
I'd like to see him actually get rid of the fucking shell shock and use the GTS or something.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
The shell
But
shock just looks fucking stupid. I don't like
a lot
it.
of me though believes that if they did that, Punk would probably be pissed,
At the same time,
or he just wouldn't care.
I think he'd be pissed, but at the end of the day, just call it something else.
Yeah,
Call it like the Rhiny or something. I don't know.
the Rhiny.
I don't know. They'll come up with something stupid like that. But nice running
Yeah.
power slam from Ryback as well. Then a choke slam from Kane who comes in, and then everybody gets in. It's a big fucking meaty fest in
festival.
the ring.
It was and there was like the festival of power slams.
Yeah.
Too.
Show picks up, I think it was Luke Harper over his head
Yes,
and
Harper.
just dumps the fucker, picks him up over his head, just dumps the fucker onto the other Wyatt members.
Yeah.
It then sneaks out, somehow, the Big Show, fucking 7 feet tall, 500 pounds, sneaks out the ring. And
Yeah,
spears
and
Strowman.
Spears.
Yeah.
The spear looked ugly.
Yeah, the guy cannot do a spear very well at all.
I always hear people online saying Edge had the worst spear. I'm like, really? Have you seen the Big Show's spear?
Who do you reckon had the best spear, actually?
I want to say Rhino's
Yeah, I was
door.
going to say Rhino, actually, as well.
He's just
Goldberg
it's
Goldberg had a good one, but I think Rhino's body size and stuff just made it look that much better.
yeah, pretty much.
A small guy, but so fucking thick. Not in terms of mentality, obviously, just in terms of body mass. It just looks perfect. Anyway, back into the ring. I can't get my fucking finger. Somebody went for a super kick, but Ryback started counting into a shell shock for the free count.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much was the end of the match, to be honest. Any notes you want to mention?
Not that I can think of right now.
I'm going to be honest here, for the 6 men that were in this match, it was surprisingly good.
I wasn't very into the match. It was.
I didn't
like it that much.
I had no
to be
interest.
honest.
I thought the match was good. I'm going to be honest. Ryback, I thought was impressive.
Oh, I forgot to mention too. Since the ratings, I would have given that like a 5 out of 10 match at at best. But I forgot to mention for the Ziggler and Owens one, I would have rated it at like an 8.5.
That's fine. But yeah, I actually enjoyed the 6-man match. I thought for who was in it, it exceeded my expectations. I mean, they weren't exactly hard to begin with because obviously you've got the Wyatts and fucking Big Show and Kane in there and Ryback, but
I really like the Wyatts.
it depends who they're in the ring with for me. But
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I thought it was a good match overall.
Yeah.
One thing I will point out is I don't understand why the Wyatts lost.
That's something I couldn't understand either. I was like, why did they lose?
Now, we won't touch on this too much right now because I don't want to talk about it until the main event. But if it's true that the Wyatt-Lesnar feud is dead, maybe they're setting up for a rematch at WrestleMania with these guys.
Possibly.
Maybe, I don't know. It's just this was the only match tonight that I predicted incorrectly. I honestly thought the Wyatts were going to win.
Yeah, I will admit I also incorrectly predicted this one too because
Yeah.
I honestly thought that they were going to win, but they didn't.
It just again, we haven't seen Raw yet. We don't know if there's going to be any fallout for this, if they've got anything planned. Obviously, it's WWE, so it's doubtful. But I just don't. The good guys don't always have to win. You've got to let the bad guys win a feud occasionally, and the Wyatts just never fucking win. You've got two guys who have got to be no more than a couple of years away from retirement. Ryback he's just sort of there. There was no reason for the Wyatts to lose this match.
It just didn't make to me. It made like zero
Mm.
sense.
Anyway, second segment, we get Reigns backstage, first of all, talking to, is it JoJo?
I think.
I don't know. I've honestly never seen it before. I don't remember seeing it before anyway.
Yeah, I don't remember. So
Reigns is
that's
interviewed by
that tells you how
JoJo.
much I know.
Reigns is interviewed by JoJo for a moment. Manages to get through the promo without stuttering or anything like that. Does a fairly decent job. Then Ambrose comes on, and Ambrose gets a fucking pop as soon as he appears on screen.
Oh yeah, when Ambrose came on, like he's a home state guy, so I
Yeah.
expected the pop because
Um,
he's from Cincinnati.
some actually pretty funny stuff here from Ambrose. It was a fairly decent segment. Both guys did well, I guess. Obviously, Ambrose kind of stalled the segment, but Reigns didn't do anything outwardly wrong, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else about the segment?
No, not that I can think of.
Very, very well. We'll go into our second Divas match. Fuck, two Divas matches on one show.
How about that shit?
The Divas Championship match: Charlotte the champion versus Brie Bella the challenger.
The promo was actually pretty touching with the whole Daniel Bryan stuff that they put in.
I'm gonna disagree because there was a point in the promo they had some weird fucking music come on. It sounded like a pig snorting.
I didn't actually realize that. It could have just been because my other friends were talking, but
Yeah.
okay, I guess.
My first note here is music for promo. What the fuck? Pig snorting.
That's
Give it better
that's a,
music, the promo would not have been bad. It was actually been decent, but their fucking choice of music here, it spoiled the promo for me.
yeah, that's just very weird.
Go back, watch that fucking promo. That music was just so unfitting for this. It's like something like that, I think.
I'm not gonna thanks to you. I'm not gonna be able to get that out of my head now. I hope you're proud.
Yes, very proud. Thank you. This isn't just about this match, but my next point I want to talk about isn't just about this match, but matches in general. Obviously, from the promo, you get that this is a very personal feud between these two. Obviously, they're trying to make it very much in a way, I guess, a blood feud or something like that, if you want to call it.
Pretty much.
I don't like when feuds like this start with, like, fucking tie-ups and stuff. If you're in a feud with someone you hate, just start fucking brawling right off the bat. Start throwing punches, get them to the outside, throw them into the barricade. Don't start out with a fucking collarbone tie-up or something like that. It's not just this match either. A lot of matches do it when they've got two people who are supposed to hate the shit out of each other. And they don't go for each other right off the bat. It just fucking annoys me.
Yeah, I can't even talk right now. I do feel pretty much the same way.
We're gonna have to speed this along a little bit. I've only got an hour left.
Okay.
I think you have actually as well.
Same here. Yep.
Yeah.
Same here.
I've got here a decent back and forward start to the match. Brie Bella, however, does a absolutely fucking atrocious flash strut.
She's not god awful terrible, but she's also not very good.
As in ring ability, she's not terrible, as you said. She was mocking Ric Flair. I don't know if she was trying to mock him by doing the terrible strut, but it was fucking atrocious. I just had to make it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Charlotte mocks the yes chant quite a lot during the match, which is pretty good for a heel. A good thing for a heel to do, I should say.
Pretty much.
Charlotte takes control with a strange submission. I don't know why. She basically gets both of Brie's hands and puts her foot to the back of her neck. It actually looks quite painful, to be honest.
It does.
Brie botches a move that turns. They kind of turn into a roll-up pin. And then there was an awkward head scissors thing where that Charlotte had on Brie, where she just kind of kept turning over and then kept slamming Brie's face into the fucking net over and over.
Yeah.
It was actually quite fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But she had that head scissors locked in for quite a while.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you got any notes here? Just feel free to jump in when I take a breath.
Yeah, pretty. Yeah, this match just kind of. I mean, one thing I wanted to point out was Charlotte. Multiple times she mocks the yes chant, and the way she's saying yes, she sounds
Yes,
like she can't even do it
yes.
right.
I think it's just meant to be her mocking it, to be honest.
It just, it just looks like she couldn't really say it very well because it just sounded really awkward.
I think she's, I think she's doing that on purpose though to make fun of it. I don't know. Maybe she just
I
sucks at doing it,
don't
but
think so.
I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. But you
Yeah,
know,
you're
you
being a
very
little
well
more
could
fair than
be.
I am.
Yeah, you very well could be correct on that. I don't know. Um, what do I have next here? There's a slight botched toe hold by Brie, but I'm not sure if she was the one who
Hmm.
fucked up or Charlotte was.
I don't know, but
Um,
yeah, she's starting to get the rebound, and I was a bit surprised that the crowd reacted so positively when she shouts Brie mode. I was just thinking for them to be like, oh god, this thing.
I know, tell me about it. I need to pause for 1 second. I need to take a phone call.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, be back in a
Make
moment.
sure to cut this out.
Alright, we're back. Sorry about it. I can't remember what I got to. Yeah, there was the fuck up, and then there was some kind of drop kick, and Charlotte was on the outside after that.
Yeah, something like that, I think. Yeah, but it was with the drop. She does the drop kick, and she screwed up her leg quite a bit because throughout the match, the remainder of the match, she was in quite a bit of pain. I
Yeah, the top row drop kick, top rope drop kick. I don't know. I'm gonna guess that that was.
she does pick up more momentum. She gets better moves and almost gets a 3 count, but
Yeah. Just back to
just
the
not
injury for a
quite.
second.
And the pain
Yeah,
looks so noticeable in her face. Like she almost looked like she was gonna cry.
I'm gonna just go back to the injury for a second here. I'm convinced that's a kayfabe injury.
Oh my god, you mentioned the injury. That's not even the injury I was gonna bring up.
Oh, right. I think we're on the
The
different parts
injury
of the
was
match.
actually mentioning about Harper because Harper, in his match, he apparently hurt his arm quite badly, and backstage he said he was in a lot of pain.
Oh, I didn't notice that, to be honest.
But yeah, that hopefully it's nothing too serious. But anyways,
I thought you were talking about the drop kick that Brie does on Charlotte in the ring, and she falls on her leg, and then she starts clinging her leg.
yeah, it looked like she screwed it up
Yeah,
really badly.
I'm guessing that was kayfabe injury. Though I'm not. I'm guessing that wasn't a real injury.
Possibly.
We'll see anyway if she appears in any more matches after this. But the reason I think it was fate was the fact that not long after that she started doing the yes kicks, and she was fine while she was doing
Pretty
them.
much. Yeah, that's probably was the case. She probably was fine.
Yeah, a figure four gets reversed into a yes lock, and the crowd went fucking apeshit for that.
Oh, definitely.
That got
Not that I'm surprised.
yeah, that got turned into a single leg crab. And then Brie, I'm guessing because she had to put all her weight on that leg she hurt, and I use hurt in quotation marks here, earlier in the match. She
The move went on for quite a while,
Yeah.
but eventually Charlotte just powered out of it.
No, Charlotte didn't power out of it. What happened was Brie went to stand it a little bit, and because of the bad leg, she fell forward.
Oh.
It was because of the camera angle. They didn't get a very good camera angle out until they
Yeah,
showed the replay.
I'm gonna say it was the
Yeah.
camera.
I actually thought she powered out as well until they showed the replay later on. But with Brie focusing on her leg for a second, Charlotte takes advantage and gets a figure 8 for the submission win.
Yep.
Got here a good match considering who was in it. You know, I think Charlotte's a really good wrestler.
Charlotte's a good wrestler, yeah.
But here's the thing: Brie's not great, and again, this comes down to pardon the pun, the styles clash between the two types of divas.
Hmm.
You know, they're having to work with a style that they're not used to here. You know, this divas like Brie, they're not used to working a very technically sound match, and the women like Charlotte are not used to wrestling the WWE diva
No.
style. No, they're used to wrestling NXT where it's actually proper wrestling. So, but for what it was a good match. I thought it was.
Yeah, it wasn't. You can't really complain too much. I mean, it wasn't the best match, but it was okay. I'd say a 6.
Fair enough. Now, for a divas match for Brie Bella with one of the Bella twins, that's not bad.
Yeah.
No promo or anything after this. There was probably some advertisements. Again, I did not make any note of them. There was no point.
No.
But now we get into match number 5, AJ Styles versus Y2J.
I was really looking forward to this match.
I'm looking forward to this one as well. Never, I've not seen any of AJ's stuff outside of TNA, but I have seen plenty of his TNA
I
shit.
kind of liked the little surprise that, like, during his promo, like, they're showing Styles debuting, they were showing clips of when he was in, for his brief period with WCW.
Yeah, he wasn't there long, but he was there.
No,
shortly.
he wasn't there a long time because he joined around the end of,
Oh yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Obviously, they're not going to show TNA stuff though.
Nope. Don't show the
That's
competition.
big no. I don't think it's even just the competition thing. I think they'd probably get sued if they did so.
Probably. I wouldn't be very. I honestly would not be surprised.
But yeah, we get a decent video package for these two showing the rivalry between Royal Rumble and today. These two obviously had 2 matches already. I've
Yep.
not seen either one of them, but from what I've read, people were not that impressed with their matches on Raw and SmackDown.
I thought their matches were good.
I haven't seen them.
I don't exactly see the problem. I mean, sure, they're not. They're nothing mind blowing. They're nothing crazy, but they were still good matches.
Before the match starts, Chris has a quick interview backstage, I think, again with JoJo. Gives a good, cocky, heelish type promo, like sort of teasing a heel turn, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Talks about how he respects AJ Styles and how if AJ wins tonight, he'll solidify his placement in the WWE and all that, but he's got to get through Chris Jericho to do it. Pretty much typical stuff, but it was very much more heelish than a common face would do, so it was kind of teasing the heel thing, I guess. First thing I want to talk about with the actual match is the crowd did not really make much noise for either guy's entrance.
Yeah.
This seems to be something that happens a lot throughout this night. Is the crowd will go ballistic towards the end of the match, but for the introductions and them coming out, they don't really do much.
No, they don't. It's
apart from one or two times they do it. You know, I think it was Sasha Banks, as you said, and they do it during the main event. But the rest of the night, they're fucking dead for whoever comes out.
I can't really say too much else about that.
We start off with some good back and forward for about a minute or two. The crowd start chanting, but at first I couldn't tell what it was they were chanting until later on I discovered they were doing a dual chant of AJ Styles and Y2J.
Which I quite liked. I was kind of happy that it wasn't all focusing on just Styles.
Oh yeah. Obviously the crowd, literally like I said, the crowd are not popping at all for the wrestlers' entrances, but they are popping once the matches get underway. Which is really fucking weird.
I mean, it wasn't the strongest crowd, but you know, at least there was a little bit of energy. So,
my only real first note here for the match was AJ was on the ground, and he got a nice laid position on Hurricane Rana on Jericho. It was really good.
Oh yeah, very good.
Another AJ Y2J chant going.
Yep. They did that quite a few things. They did that quite a few things. Okay, they did that quite a few times.
I did that a lot. I've got it written down every fucking time they did it here, and I've got it written down a lot.
Yeah.
Styles I've never seen someone take that big back body drop as well as AJ does.
Nope.
He does it. He makes it look fucking phenomenal, for lack of a better word.
Continuing with the dueling chants.
Yep.
And Jericho rushes to the corner, which Styles avoids, which causes Jericho to not only hit the ring post, but basically crash and hit the ground.
Yep.
Which was a bit surprising.
Yeah, both of the guys go out to the outside, but only for a brief moment. Then they head back inside and do the crossbody top rope maneuver.
Yeah, something like that.
Another AJ Y2J chant starting out. One was actually going to get my moment of the night until something else came along. Was AJ goes to do a crossbody to the outside, but Jericho blocks it with the drop kick. So
that drop kick was really good.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. I thought again it would have been my moment of the night if it not for something else later on.
No. Yeah, and there was basically a lot of like 2 counts because with the kick and Styles doing a face first slam, and then Jericho also pulling off the lion salts, which was nice to see.
I will say that Styles went for that. I don't know what it is. It's like that thing where he goes after. He does a springboard off the rope, and then he kind of does it into the Stinger Splash. Not Stinger Splash. The what did they call it? It's like they grab him around the neck and just sort of fall backwards with them. It's like an inverse DDT.
I don't remember.
Anyway, it looked like Y2J was a little bit too far away for AJ to catch him around the neck correctly, so it was kind of botched a little bit.
Yeah.
Enziguri by Y2J, a thing that you already mentioned by AJ Styles, a lion salt for 2 as you've already mentioned, and again the fucking crowd start chanting for the 2 again.
Yeah, they were definitely into the match for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And then we just got fucking springboards galore. Everybody just springboarding everywhere.
Springboard. You have a springboard. You have a springboard. They can also have a springboard.
And then both Y2J and AJ are on the top rope. AJ manages to sliver off and hits the Pele kick to Y2J, who's still on the top rope. Is it the Pele kick?
Maybe. I can't remember the moves
very
well.
Pele
I have to
or
listen
peg
to
leg or
Morrow
something
a
like
little
that.
more.
I can't remember the word.
I have to listen to Morrow a little more. There we go.
Chris manages to get the walls of Jericho onto AJ. He manages to get to the bottom rope after about half a minute or something like that. The 2 then go to the outside. Y2J kind of picks him up into a powerbomb position on the outside, but just doesn't drop him. He just sort of flings him around into the fucking barricade.
Yeah.
It actually looked quite painful.
That looked... Yeah, I would have probably been sore if I was the one taking that.
He actually does a actual lion tamer on the outside, not the walls of Jericho.
Yeah, he does a lion tamer, which I was quite nice. I thought that was quite nice to see. Just Jericho's just showing that he still remembers all those moves and he's never forgotten about them.
Yeah. AJ manages to get back in the ring before the 10 count and gets hit with an instant code breaker. Now this comes into one of the few things I didn't like, is the fact that because AJ Styles' arm is underneath the rope, the ref wouldn't count it. I would rather the ref countered and AJ just managed to get his hand on the bottom rope or something.
Yeah, either that or he's doing the count, but then looks over and was like, "Oh, wait a minute."
Yeah, it was the one thing in the match I really didn't like. And then Chris started shouting "stupid man" to AJ.
He's saying him, "You stupid son of a bitch," and I'm like, "That's not PG."
Again, the crowd start dual chanting again. Styles clash for a 2 count. Which was interesting. First time I've seen the Styles clash by AJ actually in WWE. And then AJ manages to lock in the calf crusher, and amazingly enough, Y2J taps out.
Yeah, I wasn't
surprised.
expecting. I wasn't expecting a submission finish, but I ain't complaining either.
I was expecting maybe another roll-up finish or something.
Yeah, it was better than to have another roll-up finish. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, terrific match, I thought. Absolutely great.
It was a very good match, and of course at the end of that, as Styles is celebrating, Jericho looked pissed.
Oh, he looked like he was going to fucking explode from rage.
Yeah, he pulls him off the top rope and nearly attacks him, but holds back. And eventually, Jericho offers his hand, and Styles accepts the handshake, and heel turn perhaps saved for another day, although I still believe it's going to happen.
Again, I honestly thought because of as you already mentioned with the heel turn there, I mentioned beforehand he had a bit of a heelish promo before the match. I honestly thought this was going to be an attack from behind, or it was going to do what he did to Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 19, shake his hand and then kick him in the balls or something.
Yep, but that's not what happened.
Yeah, I'm actually glad because I did like this match, and I think if I'd watched this entire feud from beginning to end, I would have enjoyed it. I would rather see AJ go up against someone else now. I would love to see AJ go up against Dolph Ziggler.
I'd say move him on with someone else.
And I've realized instead of putting Y2J, I've got YS2 for Y2J everywhere. I don't know why.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyway, next up was the segment 3 was the panel talking about the main event, and obviously highlights from the Del Rio Kalisto match, but we've already talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Then we come to what I call the absolute atrocity that was this. This is like a
Segment.
fucking cancer for this pay per view. The Edge and Christian New Day cutting edge peep show thing starts, and you know it's always nice to see Edge and Christian. Both are really funny guys. There are some pretty comedic moments.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's how I think it. I think these are very funny acts and they're very good, but man, they just it
Well,
just felt so out of
yeah,
place.
let's go for it, and then we'll talk about the thing. They come out, start cutting a couple jokes and stuff. You know, pretty funny stuff. You know, Edge and Christian are funny guys most of the time.
Yes.
The New Day comes out like they're on a fucking sugar rush or something like that. I have no fucking idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
They got the fucking unicorn horns on and everything. It looks pretty funny, but at the end of the day, Jesus Christ, you know, switch to fucking caffeine or decaf or something like that. I don't know.
I pretty much feel the same way.
And
I will
well,
say though, I'm glad that happened since you didn't bring it up was that whenever like Edge and Christian come out, they still have Tony Chimmel announcing the two, which
we're rated
so
our superstar.
yeah, like there was the time. Yeah, there was he tries to extend it because when he didn't do that and be on like SmackDown,
Yeah.
his voice would always crack and it was hilarious.
What's ironic is he doesn't really seem to give much about Christian, the two-time World Heavyweight Champion Christian, and the rated R superstar. It's like, all right, we know who's the favorite there. I know. I've always liked
yeah,
both equally, but I get why. I didn't
I
actually
like
take
both
many.
too.
I didn't actually take many notes during the actual segment because all I could think was while the New Day and Edge and Christian are talking, I was looking at the outfits that New Day was wearing, and I was trying to think. I did actually eventually work out who. I was trying to think. They've borrowed some fuckers' sweatsuits here, and I cannot for the life of me remember. And then I remembered, oh right, Brodus Clay. They've got fucking Brodus Clay's suits on there.
My
He comes
God,
out dancing.
I never thought about that until you actually pointed it out.
I know,
Now
the
I'm not going to
Funkasaurus.
be able to not think about that.
They came out with the Funkasaurus clothes on, and that's all I could think was, who the fuck does this remind me of? For about 5 minutes while this segment's going on, I am there with my fucking hand in my head in my hand, thinking, "Come on, you know who it is." And I was trying to remember his name. I was actually going to type "fat WWE wrestlers,"
Oh my God.
and then as I was about to type that, I actually remembered, oh, it was Brodus Clay. That was it.
Yeah, that gimmick that they gave Brodus Clay, I'm still never gonna not think about it. I'm like, this was the weirdest thing they've ever done. But he took it, but he ran with it.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well, until he left.
until he left.
Yeah. Some pretty decent back and forward, I guess, between Edge and Christian and New Day. It was going well enough, I guess. Not great. This could have easily just been a segment on Raw.
Yeah.
But it was going well enough, I guess, until the League of Nations came out.
Yeah, and I was like, what?
Here's the thing. It was like Edge and Christian were treating the League of Nations as faces, and I was confused.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, what?
Yeah, you've got Edge and Christian who are retired, and then you've got two fucking what are supposed to be heel teams facing off against each other. Who the fuck am I supposed to be cheering for here?
Exactly. I thought going into this when I thought it was going to finally lead to what I thought they were going to do, and that is have Enzo Amore and Big Cass make their main make their first appearance on not an NXT product.
Maybe they
Unlike-
didn't. There was a problem or something.
I don't know. Because the thing is, Enzo and Cass have been backstage over the last while and are pretty much almost at this point, almost for the most part, nearly confirmed to be called up next onto the main roster. And it would have been a great thing because there's the moment where basically the two, the New Day's going about how who's better than us and everything, and there's no one who could beat us. And I always thought Enzo and Cass could finally be the two to beat the New Day, to finally get their redemptions as being the guy who were always known as the ones who could never make it. Because Enzo and Cass have never won. They never won the tag team titles in NXT.
Oh, fair. But yeah, there's some. Sheamus starts. Sheamus and the League of Nations start threatening. Uh, the New Day walkout is in turn the other cheek, as
Yes.
he likes to put it. And then a strange thing happened that the League of Nations threaten Edge and Christian, who then just walk out.
Yeah. I was like,
Like,
what?
what's this building to? And then they start going out, and then the New Day start doing the fucking, what do you call it, the thing with their asses,
Booty
twerking,
dancer.
the twerking thing.
Yeah, and like
That was
Christian
it.
mentioned that they're gonna have like that they're gonna have a 5 second post for the League of Nations, and Edge calls it like something like the International League of Dumbasses or
Yeah,
something.
it was like they were building up to something that didn't happen. It was so.
It was this whole thing just didn't make sense
It
at
was a
all.
waste of fucking time, is what it is. Don't get me wrong, I love seeing Edge and Christian. Every time they'll, on this day, I see clearly the music comes on, I fucking pop. I love hearing that. Or even Christian's theme of Open Your Eyes, I like as well. Either then come on, I pop big time. But the novelty of seeing these guys ran out really fucking quickly. It's like, why? I know you've got a show coming on straight after the pay per view, which is obviously why they did this segment, so they
I did
could.
like though that they mentioned quite literally that it is a shameless self plug to
Yeah.
watch the show. They like literally word for word.
Yeah, they pretty much said it there. I mean, like I said, there was a couple of funny moments, but this was a complete fucking waste of time.
Oh, tell me about it.
And we go from one waste of time to another fucking waste of time. We get a special match here. The Social Outcast come out for a match, or I should say Curtis Axel of the Social Outcast comes out for a match against R-Truth. Fucking cringe-worthy promo from the Outcasts. I was cringing big time at how bad it was. I can't even remember what it was. It was that
Yeah.
bad. Truth comes out doing his all rap shtick that he's been doing since he pretty much got there. Um, Only really one moment I saw in the match, because there was more going on at the side. There was a nice hip toss by Truth to Axel. That's the only actual thing I've got for the in-ring part of the match. The Outcast got on the rope, all the other members, Heath Slater, Adam Rose, and Bo Dallas, I think. They were
Mm-hmm.
the three that were there. Truth knocks them all off. The Outcast then start acting like a shittier version of the New Day and start running around and acting like idiots on the outside. Goldust then comes out, tries apparently on Truth's behalf because he wants to be in a tag team with Truth called the Golden Truth or something like that. I think
Yeah, I
Michael
think
said.
that's what it. I think that's what he said. The golden truth.
Uh, Pretty much takes care of the Social Outcast. For some reason, rolls up, takes one of the guys and throws him into the ring. I don't know why, because this is a one-on-one match.
Yeah, he takes one of the guys, throws him in the ring. Truth has to basically jump over him and try to
Yeah.
avoid him, and that sets up the perfect opportunity to get rolled up and pinned.
And my next comment is, what the fuck was this segment doing on a pay-per-view?
This to me was literally a 0 out of 10 match.
I've given it a 1 for that nice hip toss and the fact that some of the actual ring work by Truth, who is pretty old, it can still actually go pretty well considering his age. He can still do some fancy moves, I guess.
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
I could give it a 1 for those moves, but I still think it was so pointless
It
and it
was
just wasted
fucking
my
stupid.
time, which is why I gave it a 0.
Yeah, everything from the Y2J AJ Styles ending up until now has been pure fucking shit. And it's been a good 30 to 40 minutes. For the Edge and Christian cutting edge promo thing to the Curtis Axel Truth match, that is a good 35, 40 minutes there. We've gone over it quickly, but that's just because there's practically nothing to talk about with these segments. They were time wasters. At the end of the day, I don't know if they had to make up for time or something like that. I have no idea. But it was so fucking those. You're talking nearly a good third of the pay-per-view there, and it was
Pretty
shit.
much. It's just oh,
But thankfully, after that, it's time for the main event. Match number 7. Lesnar versus Reigns versus Ambrose. Triple threat match for the number 1 contender spot at WrestleMania. Here we go. I don't. Again, we mentioned this earlier. I brought it up. I don't know if this was the same video package you got, but it was pretty good. It focused on all three men instead of just Reigns.
Yeah, it put the attention on all three of them, which was the best way they could have done it.
Yeah, it made all three look like good superstars. Made them all look.
Hmm.
Uh, Whatever. Never mind. But yeah, the promo was pretty good. I still say
I was really like when this match finally came on, I was thinking in my head, please let this work out, because after the last couple things, I was like, oh my god, my brain hurts.
You mean the Curtis Axel and New Day thing?
And Edge and Christian and New
Yeah,
Day,
obviously all that. I mean, the two
League of
segments we talked
Nerds.
about, yeah. Ambrose is out first to a big pop. You know, the crowd fucking loved the
Yep.
guy.
Yep.
Reigns is out to booze. No surprise there.
Yep. Pretty much.
Lesnar came out. I was actually expecting a bigger pop here, but he got a pop, but not as big as Ambrose's.
No.
At least not when. I mean, he got a lot of Suplex City chants later on, but for his
Of
introduction
course.
pop, no, there wasn't really much there. Heyman takes control of the microphone and introduces Lesnar instead of Lillian Garcia.
Which was, of course, if you're gonna have to introduce Lesnar, you got to have Heyman do it,
Yeah. And
because
then
otherwise there's something wrong.
the bell rings and Lesnar just fucking dominates. Like the
Yep.
beast that he is.
He goes right into it.
Yep. Goes straight for Ambrose. Pretty much fucking lays him out really quickly and starts suplexing Reigns after that.
Hmm.
You know, the guy makes suplexes look... You know, think back to, like, Attitude Era. A suplex was not a big move.
It really wasn't.
I mean, it was...
And then-
Alright, I'm make it look a little bit shitter than it actually was. It wasn't like this, oh my god, I'm in so much pain move. It was like a mid... If there's like a list for moves in their efficiency and how much they hurt, I'd probably put the suplex somewhere in the lower middle part. But with Brock Lesnar, it's like a higher fucking thing that could practically be a finisher on its own.
Well, the thing with Lesnar is he puts so much energy into it. He basically just... It's not only is it like a suplex, he basically just tosses them so far away and burns them so high up that it's basically... It looks a lot more painful when he does
really
it.
does. And he does a lot of them as well. I think the only guy who might have done more than them is either Taz or Kurt Angle.
I know Taz and Angle did it quite a lot, but
Yeah. Not the
I
same.
mean, I
Obviously,
would say Lesnar probably does it more, because there was like 8 of these suplexes in the match.
I want to just point out, I mean German suplexes. Obviously,
Yes,
I'm just
the German
talking that.
suplex.
Obviously, there's a lot of different suplexes out there. Lesnar is well known for the German suplex. I think Angle and Taz are probably more known for things like belly-to-belly suplexes and stuff like that.
Pretty much.
There's a missile... while Reigns is getting pretty much suplex raped by Lesnar, sorry. Dean eventually slows down Brock's momentum momentarily with that missile drop kick,
Yeah.
which was pretty nice.
Didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah, then Dean goes for a fucking German suplex on Lesnar, and Lesnar's just like, what the fuck are you trying to do?
I really like that moment. He's sitting there just saying, come on, and then Lesnar is like, are you fucking
Bitch,
serious
seriously?
right
You trying to suplex me?
now? Pretty much.
I actually thought it was quite funny, actually.
It was I really thought it was great.
It was
So
a very humorous moment, yeah.
Yes. I have nothing to complain about there.
They go to the outside. Dean tries to basically jump through the ropes on Lesnar. Lesnar catches him and just fucking suplexes the shit out of him. And then the Suplex City chants start.
Yep.
And then we go back in the ring. Lesnar takes Reigns back in, and an early F5 to Reigns.
Yeah.
Dean breaks the pin up, so that happened.
Pretty much.
And pays for the breakup of the pin by Lesnar beating the crap out of him for a while. Dean's selling here was fucking amazing. He falls up like a fucking what do you call those things? Not a xylophone.
Fuck.
Oh, well, an accordion. He falls up like a fucking accordion.
Yeah, something like that.
He just looks fucking dead.
He did. He didn't look very. He didn't. Yeah.
He gets suplexed and then he just sort of lets his body limp over the rope. It was actually really, from just a visual point of view, it was really intense. It's like, holy fuck, this guy could literally kill him.
pretty much.
Yeah, but yeah, Dean's selling there was just I just thought his selling was fantastic. Um, Lesnar picks up Dean for F5 for an F5, but Reigns gets back in the ring and spears Lesnar,
Mm-hmm.
which actually doesn't affect Lesnar for very long actually. But after that, we get a Superman punch to Lesnar as well. But Lesnar actually rolls out the ring so he can't get pinned. Smart move there.
Very
Actually,
smart move.
I like it when wrestlers do that
Yeah, it's like
as a way to
they
prolong the
get
match. Yeah.
yeah, like they get hit by something big, which could potentially end a match, and instead they just roll out as a way to prevent said moment from happening.
Yeah, it's a good move. I mean, I think Kevin Owens did it last month.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe last month. I can't remember. It might have actually been earlier tonight. I can't remember. But I do like it when they do it. It's very smart. An F5 attempt on Reigns was countered by a low blow
Low pro.
low blow from Dean. And then they go to the outside. They pretty much just take everything off the table. And they set up a two-man shield powerbomb and send Brock through one of the announce tables. I think it was the Spanish announce table.
Yeah, it was the Spanish announce table.
Poor Spanish announce table.
I was honestly really surprised that they even did that. I was like, holy crap, they actually are going to do this? I was like, wow.
We'll talk about this again in a few minutes, but that does get a holy shit chant.
Unsurprisingly.
Yeah, I don't honestly... It was a good spot, but I don't know if it was deserving of a holy shit chant.
Nah.
After that, Dean actually turns on Reigns and sends him flying into the steel steps.
Yeah, because at that point, it's like, Reigns is out, we might as well
Lesnar's out,
get to work. Because it's like, it's basically like, okay, so we can do all we want here, but if we sit around here, we're not going to be able to. Nothing much is really going to happen.
Yeah, they were stood there for about 20 seconds, just taking a quick breather.
Yeah.
But I was going to say this was pretty much what they did during the Royal Rumble Triple Threat last year, actually, with Rollins, Cena, and Lesnar. They Rollins and Cena pretty much double teamed Lesnar and sent him through the announce table and then went back into the ring. It's the same exact thing here. It works because you need a way to get Lesnar out of the match, but obviously there's only so many ways you can do that because the guy's a fucking beast.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of time left, so
yeah, we're gonna try to speed through this as quickly as possible now.
Yeah.
Dean actually manages to take control of Roman for a few short minutes, thankfully. Some shots are traded, obviously punching back and forth. Dean's always getting the pop and Roman's always getting the boos when they're trading the shots. Lesnar springs back to life and the Shield stop fighting each other and go back out and fight him again. Well, they are technically two Shield members out of the three.
There were two parts of it.
I am literally just reading my notes here because instead of putting like Dean and Reigns, I put Shield just because, again, I was on the bike when I was in this, so I was doing this with my left hand, alright?
Yeah.
Some slack.
Your left hand, were you using, is that what?
No, it was closer to my computer because the computer stand where I was on the bike, it was on my left side, so I had to use my left hand.
Right, okay.
I wasn't masturbating or anything like that.
Okay.
Then we get a rehash of what we did earlier. The two Shield members powerbombing from another announce table.
Yeah, so the main announce table. So the German announce table's the only one to survive.
I don't know. That sounds very, very strange, I guess. But what I liked afterwards was this time they both just fucking buried him under all this the shit that the tables left.
Yeah, that was like I thought that was really amusing.
I actually thought that was going to be what did Lesnar in. Actually, I thought there'll be like a piece that he's like stuck between something and something else, and he can't get out, so that I keep him out the rest of the match. But no, he got out eventually.
I thought it would have been weird if he stayed. If it was a way to keep him out the rest of the match.
But thankfully, as I said, they didn't do that. Anyway, this time Roman attacks Ambrose first. And the match goes back on in the ring. A Superman punch.
Yep.
And a spear counted. I can't remember how he counted it, unfortunately. Dean does get the Dirty Deeds for a 2 count.
Yep.
And another "This is awesome" chant by the crowd. Brock comes back into the ring. At this point, Reigns has got Dean on his shoulders, and he suplexes Reigns with Dean on Roman's shoulders. It was actually quite an epic moment.
Yeah.
Spear to Brock Lesnar, but it has no fucking effect. He just locks in that Kimura lock straight away.
Yeah, it's like the spear was nothing.
Yeah. I am Brock Lesnar. You will need to do more than that.
Well then, that was weird. With the voice, the thing,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna do the high
yeah.
pitched damn. I need some fucking helium if I'm gonna do Brock Lesnar's voice.
Yeah, the high pitched
Yeah.
screams he does sometimes, which I never understand how he manages to do that.
Um, where was I here? Yeah, after while Lesnar's got him in the Kimura lock, Roman actually, with an impressive feat of strength, picks him up with his one arm to get
Hmm.
out of it. At this point, Ambrose comes in with a steel chair and just waylays Brock for a while. Also takes some pot shots at Reigns as well.
Yeah, they just kept wailing on each other, just going for the both, and managed to get
Yeah,
Lesnar out. But Reigns eventually
yeah.
manages to
He
recover
hits
enough to
he
hits the
hits
spear
Brock.
on
Yeah,
Ambrose.
he hits Brock with a chair shot that sends Brock to the outside. Taunts Brock for a second, turns around, and yeah, Roman Reigns gets a free count for the with a spear for the win.
The
Sadly.
ending of that match just really was not a good ending because it felt very anticlimactic, to put it this way.
I guess I can see that. What I like is the fact that there's a crowd shot straight after the match finishes, and a good portion of the crowd have got their thumbs down.
They're like, they're basically all sitting there thinking, "This was too damn predictable.
Yeah.
I give you a thumbs down."
There was some clear booing from the crowd at this point. Um,
Yeah.
and then after a few minutes of celebration, if you want to call it that, Triple
Like, how
H.
many celebrations are they gonna give Reigns?
I have no fucking idea. After that, Triple H comes out, doesn't really do anything, gets into the ring, and both men have a stare down.
Yeah, and he poses with with
Yeah,
holding up the title.
but obviously that's going to be in that shot's going to be in the WrestleMania promo package for the main event, obviously.
Yep.
Uh, I have here a great match. Wrong man won though.
Great match. Wrong man won. Ending wasn't the greatest.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. It was okay, but yeah, as you said, it was a bit anticlimactic, especially for the
Yeah,
build
I
up
would have
to the
said that
match.
was probably an 8 for me.
Yeah, well, we'll go into the aftermath if we've still got time in a moment. But yeah, that was the Royal Rumble review. Overall,
Fastlane review.
oh, fuck. I fucked it up. Okay, it happens.
I know. You're good at that.
Hey, you fucked up the intro. Okay, you've got no right to speak.
But I didn't fuck it up that bad.
Anyway, we'll do an overall rating for the pay per view in a moment. First of all, Thunder, what was your match of the night?
Well, my match tonight was Owens versus Ziggler. I thought they had the best match because they were just there's just two guys who just really were quite a lot talented. I've mentioned before I've never been huge on Ziggler.
Yeah, you
This
said
match
before.
does show that he's a good wrestler. I don't know. There's just something I guess that doesn't click with me for him, but I'll never I won't take away the fact that he knows how to wrestle. So
I'm a bigger Ziggler fan, but it's for any different opinions. It happens.
yes.
My match of the night, AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. I Michael Cole, I think, said it best. This was always one of those dream matches for a lot of people.
Oh, it definitely was.
I think it was Cole that said that, and I didn't see the Raw SmackDown match, so I didn't have those to deter me from this. I absolutely love this match. I thought both men did well, especially considering neither one of them are in their prime anymore.
Yeah.
Some really good back and forth. There were only one or two botches, and I thought both men performed fucking admirably, and I absolutely loved the match.
Yeah.
All right,
I
so
can't, I, that's a good way to look at it, I'd say.
so next up, next award, Superstar of the Night.
Well, I was thinking very hard with this because it was very,
It was harder
'cause-
tonight, wasn't it?
yeah, because it was either, to me, there was three people I
Well, you
had
gotta
in
pick one.
mind. I'll just mention the three that I
Okay.
had on shorthand. I had Kevin Owens,
Yep.
AJ Styles,
Yep.
and Dean Ambrose. I thought those were the best three of the night. When I looked it over, I said, I love you, Owens. I think you're a tremendous wrestler, but I'm going to give the nod to Styles.
Fair enough. My Superstar of the Night, actually Ambrose.
Oh,
Second
hey.
month in a row.
Well, look at that. I mean, like I said, it was very hard for me to make the choice. I really like Styles, and
Yeah.
he did a very good job tonight. So
He did a wonderful job. I thought, that, obviously from a technical standpoint, he did great. Here's the thing: Ambrose is getting over not just as an in-ring competitor, but as a character as well. He had that
oh
promo
yeah,
earlier in the night as well. It was that promo actually, that funny stuff that he
and
actually
there's
got
like
me
the
over.
rumors that Dean Ambrose may face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and I'm thinking in my head,
On
what if?
paper, that sounds good, but as soon as he gets in the ring, he's just gonna get suplexed the shit out of.
Yeah, but although I did think of an idea. I remember seeing some of his stuff when he was in the Indies as John
Yeah.
Moxley, like stuff he was insane, like
You,
even more so.
pretty straight. You would need it to be a street fight or something. It can't be a straight up wrestling match.
Yeah, I think they really if that's the way they're gonna go, I think they really need to take the chance to make him be like the how he was with John Moxley.
And last the word for the night, moment of the night.
Okay, there was many moments of the night for me. There was
I only
so
had
many of
one.
them.
Like I said, I already mentioned the AJ Chris Jericho one, but I didn't pick that overall. So
What
was
did you
your...
pick?
And remember, you can only pick one, so make sure you only pick one.
Well, what did you pick?
I picked the Lesnar suplex to Roman with D on his shoulders.
Oh, wow, well, I picked one for the same match, but it was the double power bombs to Lesnar through the announce tables. I just wasn't expecting it at all, so that caught me way off.
It just looks... It was definitely a thing. For me, it just looks weird because there used to be three of them doing it, so it just looks weird not having all three of them there.
you're used to them doing it, but I wasn't. But it never happened with someone like Lesnar. Like someone like Lesnar, you think that's never gonna happen, then it happened.
Alright, well, last thing we want to do, overall rating for the pay-per-view. And again, we're doing this on a grade scale, A to F.
Would have originally given this about a C minus when I first watched it, but looking over things, I'm gonna bump it to a C plus.
I looks like I'm going to be a little bit more thingy. I was actually going to give it a B plus as I was watching the entire pay-per-view because I had no fucking issues with it whatsoever. But then you had the 40-minute shit segment, starting with the New Day and Edge and Christian up until the end with Curtis Axel.
Yeah,
and
like
Truth.
up before that point, I was around the B plus range, but and then I was around I was around the C plus range, C plus to B range, and then that pushed it down to C minus at the highest.
Yeah, you're picking C minus. I am.
No, I'm picking C plus.
Oh, you're picking C plus overall.
The last match did up the grade for me.
Yeah, so mine went from a B plus, but again because of that 40-minute shit segment, I dropped it to a B minus overall.
Yeah, so we're fairly close. You're just a little more positive, but not by too much.
So I guess before we end, because we've only got literally a couple minutes left, what do you think about the... Obviously now, we've talked about the supposed match between Ambrose and Lesnar, but that's not actually on the card yet. We do have one match on the card, Triple H versus Reigns for the WWE Championship.
Yeah.
Ooh,
and
boy.
I'm going to say it straight up. If they want to get 100,000 people in that ring in Dallas, they're gonna have to find a way to make something in that match make people want to see it. Because if it's just Reigns and Triple H, I guarantee people will go to WrestleMania to watch the good portion of the pay-per-view, to watch the portion of it. But come that main event, people will probably start walking out because they're not interested.
The problem is, I don't think they could even. Excuse me, got my thingy stuck there. The only way they'd get 100,000 people in attendance anyway is to fucking give tickets away, and that's not going to happen.
No,
I'm not being thingy there with WWE. It's just you couldn't get that even at the height of Hulkamania era, so you're not going to be able to get that now. You know, when wrestling's at a very
they're trying really hard
peak.
though.
But Triple H reigns for the title. I have absolutely zero fucking interest in.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of interest in it either.
There was a slight light in this match, in this triple threat match, that it might end up in a double pin between Ambrose and Reigns. So
I wanted that to happen. I really wanted there to be a double pin. I would have been perfectly cool with it.
Reigns winning was my number one, my most percentage prediction, but my second one was Ambrose Reigns double victory to set up a triple threat match at WrestleMania. Because here's the thing, you now have a WrestleMania main event where the crowd has no one to cheer for. You're going to pick the internet hated guy in Triple H, or the guy that just cannot get over with the fucking fans in Reigns. You know, you're going to have... I honestly think if it comes to it, the fans will cheer for Triple H over Reigns.
They will. They probably will.
So, here's the thing. They still want Reigns as the main guy. They're going to give him his WrestleMania moment that he was denied last year, regardless of what the fans want. But here's the thing. They will not get any fucking cheers for him. I would not be surprised if shit gets thrown into the ring at the end of the pay-per-view if he wins.
Pretty much.
I don't know.
And especially because it's Dallas we're talking here.
Yeah, if you're gonna put on a main event like that with a guy you know you want as the main guy, but he's not getting over with the crowd, don't make the pay-per-view in a fucking smart city.
Yeah, and Texas has always been a smart state with smart cities.
But unfortunately, we're gonna have to talk about this when we actually get to WrestleMania. We'll save more time for that, obviously, because it's WrestleMania. We'll do a much longer episode, but
yes,
we both have to go in the next few minutes anyway. We both got things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one went a bit more smoothly, I think, than last month.
Yeah, I'd say the same.
Yeah. So thank you all for watching. We'll be back. Obviously, it's gonna be a long period of time between this and episode 3 because WrestleMania is a good 6 weeks away still.
6 months.
WrestleMania is still a good 6 weeks away or so. So, and we did Royal Rumble literally only about a week or 2 ago. So yeah, you're gonna be waiting a long time for episode 3, unfortunately.
All right. Yep.
So I guess I think that's everything we have to say.
Yeah, pretty much. I have nothing else to
Press
say.
Circle the Pin podcast, and we'll see you next time for WrestleMania.
And remember, don't press triangle.
Yeah, you don't want to fuck that up.
Yes.
Good night, all.